Hello everybody, welcome back. In the last video we created a basic health route, and in this video we're going to create subroutes. So we're going to have subroutes that allow us to add authentication to those routes but don't enforce authentication to these basic routes. So the way to do that is to use this subroute package that we created earlier. So let's go ahead and start that. We're going to do v1 routes because that makes the most sense to me. This is the first version of our API, so of course we want to have version 1, right? So let's go ahead and create a router for this, like so. And we're going to say package dot, it's fine, v1's fine. And then we'll say function middleware. We need to have some middleware for this function because remember we're going to need to have authentication for this one. So you need to actually handle it in the middleware somewhere, right? And then http.handler. So we're returning a handler. So return http.handler function, like so. And then we need to have, it's an anonymous function. So w.http.response writer, and the request object is, well, actually, it's funny. So somebody mentioned the other day, like, I was talking to somebody and they're asking me, how come the request is a writer, is a pointer, and the writer is not a pointer? And I thought maybe I should mention this video that this is actually a pointer. It's just an interface. So and all interfaces are pointers. You see that? So it actually is a pointer. It just doesn't need the pointer syntax because the interfaces are assumed to be pointers. But anyway, something maybe interesting, maybe not. I don't know. But okay. So this is the function we're calling right here. And at the moment, we're just going to return serve HTTP because we're not actually going to have, we don't have any middleware at the moment, but we will have middleware later on. So, did I misspell that? I did misspell that. Handler, that's why. Oh no, what did I do here? Not enough arguments to call. What did I do here? HTTP handler. Oh, oops. And then this needs to be, oh, that's right, yep, passing in, oh, of course. Okay, so middleware, this is the middleware for v1 routes. Okay, then we need to actually have some actual routes, so let's do function get routes for these v1s. We'll pass the database into this later on, but not at the moment. So we're actually going to need to import. So this is where it gets a little bit screwy. So the router here is actually going to import v1, and v1 is going to import these. But you can't. You got to be careful with circular imports here. So I'll show you. So sometimes, well, we'll just do it. I'll show you. So we'll say routes. Actually, what did I call it in here? We'll just copy this. I did call it routes. Okay, routes. Okay, so we'll say we're going to return subroute. That's a map of string. That's .subroute package, like so. And then we're going to just return one of them. So the reason why I do it this way is so you can actually return more than one if you want to. So if you wanted to return more than one set of subroutes, you could do that. That's why I'm doing this map string here. But if you don't want to actually do it, you can just do a subroute package and not worry about the map string. But anyway, you just have to go into here and add a path, like a subroute route path, like so. It's a string, and then in here you would do. You'd name that v1 or whatever, right? Anyway, so let's return this. So we'll say that we want to initialize this subroute here, subroute as a map. I'm going to make this a map string of routes, like so. The first argument is going to be v1, and then we're going to attach to that to the routes. So real quick, this is a map string, so you look at it needs to have routes and middleware. Okay, of course the middleware would be this guy right here. And then we do it's gonna be routes. Ooh, that's a little bit funky, huh? I'm gonna have to change that. I think that's a little bit weird. So let's go ahead and actually create a health route for this one as well. So let's go here. We're gonna actually just copy this right now, but we're gonna say v1 routes are active. There we go. This is going to be v1, like so. And we're going to say the name is going to be v1 health route. And then we're going to have a method of get. Okay. A pattern of health. And then a handler function of health, like so. Okay, and then why is this flipping out? Undefined name. You can't use v1 health route. Type string as type routes. Did I oh, route. There we go. Okay. Routes is type routes and field. Didn't I do? Didn't do. Oh, okay. Oops. Routes.route. This is going to be somewhat messy here. Okay. That's actually attached to that route here, and this is actually attached to there. Save, there we go, and then we need a comma here. Okay, so what is this freaking about? Handler function, did I mess that up again? Handler func. Oh, hander. Okay, that's why. I need to actually go the other way around and go to here and fix that. So my routes types is actually not correct. My routes types here. This actually needs to be handler function. That's why it's not working. Okay. Alright. So we have this basic route. So now we need to actually grab these routes and return them. Oh, we need to attach the middleware as well. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll attach the middleware. Say middleware. Okay. Comma. And then we need to return subroute, like so. We'll say get routes, get v1 routes. Okay, and now we're going to actually grab this one here, go to the router itself, go up to here, routes, and then v1, and let's say v1 routes. Okay, and now we need to actually get those routes here. Handler. There we go. And we'll say for. Once again, we don't need route. No, this is subroute. Range v1 routes. Dot. Oh, that's right. v1 sub routes are equal to get routes. Oh, this is becoming a long video. I didn't want this one to be so long. Okay, and then what's it complaining about? Undefined v1 routes. Oh, shoot. v1. There we go. And then that's fine. Subroute declared and not used, but that is perfectly fine because we're about to use that right now. Okay, so one thing I also want to mention as well is we can go through and just loop over these, but one of the things I wanted to do is I wanted to create a function to do that for me. I think that makes things a little bit simpler. So let's go ahead and create that function. But we're gonna have this new file in here called helpers, because I don't want to put this file's already getting too big. So we're gonna package router. Okay, we're gonna call this function. Oh, you know what? Actually, this isn't gonna work because it has to be in the same folder as the router itself. So this actually isn't gonna work. We need to put it here. Okay, function router. Oops, function. Wow. Route handler. We're going to call that attach sub router with middleware. It's going to have a path, which is going to, of course, be in this case the V1, right? And we're going to. This is already getting so big. Okay. Go, and then we're going to do sub routes. They're going to be of type. Routes dot routes. Okay, and then we're going to have middleware, which will be of type mux dot middleware function. Okay, and then we're going to return a sub router. Okay. Oh, we need to attach. Okay, allows you to attach sub route. Oops. Routes to router. Okay, and then what's this complaint? Oh, got to return. That's fine. We'll do that in a second. Okay, so we create a sub router using the router itself. So we'll say sub router, and we're going to, because we're just assigning this guy to the sub router, right? So router is going to equal to the r.router, and we need to create a path prefix. So we're basically appending the path that we passed in. So v1 in this case, right? And create a subrouter from that path. And then we need to attach the middleware to it. So we'll say subrouter.use, and we'll pass in the middleware like that. And then we'll say for route range of subroutes. And then we're just going to go down here and steal this guy because I really don't want to. Retype that out again. Undefined route. Oh, that's right. There we go. And then this is saying undefined subrouter. No, actually, it's not. Okay, it actually was. And then we'll return. Okay. So now we have this function. So now we can just pass in that object we created in here. This object right here. We can just pass that into the router, and it will magically handle that for us. So let's go ahead and go down to this middleware here, and we'll say router dot attach sub route here. We'll pass in the actually, let's do this, and then we'll call this the pack, and we'll say name, then pack dot routes, and pack dot middleware. Okay, all right. So now we should be able to test that. We should be able to hit that v1 route, and it should go. And what we'll do, just to make sure that's doing what we expect it to do, we're going to go into this. We're going to have the main middleware. So we'll say log.print ln hit main middleware, and then we're going to also add this as well to the middleware on the subroute, so we can see it working, going all the way through to each one. Hit v1 middleware, and then when it goes and hits the health right here, we should see this v1 routes are active. So we should actually see 3 logs, assuming this actually works. Okay, so we'll say curl http. Oh, we don't need to do that. Localhost 8000. So nothing for that one, right? Because we don't have a base route, but we do have a health route. So we'll see here that it hit the main middleware. Now let's go try the v1 health route. V1 health route. Host not found. Oh no, what did I do wrong? Health check. Deny health That's this one here. Okay. Hit this middle. Did I just not even? Maybe I didn't even. V1 routes. We do attach this V1 route right here. V1 here. Router. We're going through these routes right here. Get routes. Let's grab log.print. Let's just make sure it's even running through that. Maybe the problem is it didn't actually find it. Go V1, so it does attach. So why am I not attaching this prefix right? Maybe prefix path router return subrouter router.attach middleware. Something is wrong here. Did I maybe I I touched. Oh, that's why. Oh my gosh. I've touched to the subrouter, not the actual router itself. That's why. Okay. Glad we cleared that up. So, and there we go. So you see we do get the V1 routes are live. We hit the main middleware and then the V1 middleware. So the reason why that wasn't working is because I had attached it to the actual main router, not the subrouter. And once I did that, it actually worked. So let's go ahead and remove these logs because they're not really necessary. And then we will be done with this video. So, all right. So that's that. You see, we did routes and subroutes. So this should give you everything you need to keep attaching. One more thing I want to mention is you can actually attach subroutes to subroutes. So if you wanted to keep going with that, you can keep going with that. But that's kind of beyond the scope of this specific video, but we might get to it later when we actually build out our API for our system. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you guys next time.